You know that first Monday after retirement, no alarm, no meetings, no one waiting for you. You made coffee, you sit down at the table, and for a few minutes, it's absolutely great. And then something shifts because you told yourself for 30, 35, maybe even 40 years that someday you'd finally start that home project or that vehicle restore, or in essence, you want to create something. You finally have the time and you want to create something. You want to maybe do this thing and maybe you want to share what you know. And now someday is here and you're still drinking coffee. Well, it turns out the excuses didn't disappear. They just changed how they look. The first thing I want you to grab hold of is the fact that the excuse of time is now gone. You don't have a boss. You have no 9 to 5. You don't have to clock in anywhere. You don't have to clock out at the end of the day. You don't get a lunch break. You take your lunch break anytime you want. If you want to eat at 10 o'clock in the morning, have at it. If that's what you want to do, and then have an afternoon snack, maybe a second breakfast. That's kind of fun. But you've got these projects and you've been maybe waiting to do these projects. And now you can work at your own pace. You don't have to finish it by the weekend. You can finish it by the weekend in 3 months, if that's what you want to do. And that's the key. In retirement, you choose what to do with your time. Finally, the excuse of not having the time to do something is gone. And right along with time, there's the idea of money. The excuse of money is gone. Now, when we're talking about starting a YouTube channel, fixed income doesn't even matter. Nobody understands fixed income more than a retired person. Am I right? You know I'm right. Now, making a YouTube channel is so easy. It takes no money to start because you already own a phone, probably a smartphone, and every smartphone has a camera on it, and that's all you need to start. My guess is you also have a computer, and it doesn't really matter what type of computer you have for the most part, but you've got a computer and you can do some very simple and some very basic editings, well, even on your phone, but you could even do it on your computer. But it takes really no money to start a YouTube channel. The excuse of money is now gone. The excuse of time is gone. The excuse of money is now gone. And then there's this idea of the excuse of, well, what will people think? What will people think if I start a YouTube channel? Who cares? Who cares? When you start a YouTube channel, just don't tell anyone. It's none of their business. It's your project. It's your hobby, not theirs. Now, when they ask, maybe they'll discover it. When they ask, you just tell them, it's my hobby, and I like doing it. I know a lot of people that have YouTube channels, and that's their answer. It's my hobby, and I'm doing it. And that's what I say when other people say, you've got a YouTube channel? I say, yeah, it's my hobby, and I like doing it. It's just like some people like gardening, and they do it, or woodworking, and they do it, or working on a car, or working on a restored vehicle, and they do it. It doesn't matter what people think. It just doesn't matter. Now, if you eventually get to a spot in your YouTube channel where you're sharing the idea of gardening or woodworking or whatever, and that is the focus of your YouTube channel, boom, the excuse of what will people think is gone. And now I'm reminded of, obviously, Lord of the Rings. Gandalf's quote in The Fellowship of the Ring, where Frodo suddenly realizes he's got this ring and it hits him the grave responsibility of having to take this ring to Mordor and throwing it in the fire. He all of a sudden it just hits him, and he's having a bit of a crisis over it. And Gandalf just very calmly says, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. Gandalf didn't say, figure out how to get more time. He said, decide what to do with the time you have. It actually says the time that is given us. We've been given time. In retirement, we've been given time to do whatever it is that we want to do. So what are you going to do with your time? Now, for Frodo, he was thinking, I don't want this. And Gandalf is saying, let's do something significant. Let's do something that has an impact. Let's do something that has an impact on the future of their time, Middle Earth, as it were. Now, we could say, I'm going to do something that is going to have an effect on the entire world. Probably not. Great if it did. Probably not. But what you do have is the ability to impact other people who watch your YouTube channel. That's great. No one is saying you can't contribute those plans that you have for your retirement and actually make them the focus of your YouTube channel. Now, in Matthew chapter 20, Jesus tells the parable of the workers. And it kind of, I might butcher it a little bit. The idea is this guy needs some workers to work in his field for the day. So at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, he hires some workers and they go out and start to work in the field. And at noon, he needs some more workers. So he goes and gets some more workers who start at noon. And then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he still needs a few more workers. So he goes and hires them. He hires groups early in the morning, middle of the day, late in the afternoon. And at the end of the day, he pays them all exactly the same. And the 9 o'clock workers who worked all day are kind of upset about it. And I kind of get that. But here's the idea. You're the worker, the retired worker, the retired person who is now being hired at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And God is saying kind of the same thing that Gandalf says. What are you going to do with the time you've got left? Are you going to kick back and do nothing? Or are you going to make an impact? Are you going to use your time to help touch someone else's life? My idea is very simple. Start now, share what you know, help others. That's the idea. Now, for me, when the job market ran out on me and I was too old to be a youth pastor, so I've been told, I actually had the opportunity to sue an entire denomination because they said the only reason they weren't going to hire me was because of my age. Man, that would have been lucrative, but I didn't. I just reminded them not to say that to anybody else. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. I got to the point where I really struggled with what am I supposed to do next? And I struggled so much with not having purpose that I was slowly diving close to suicide. I really was. I had lost a sense of purpose, which I never should have lost. I just had it very obviously misplaced. But I had to slowly rediscover my purpose in the right context. I felt like the 5 o'clock hire and not the 9 o'clock hire. God reassured me that it's okay to work at 5 o'clock. He showed me it's okay to come out of that with a purpose, and it may be in the sense of a YouTube channel. And that's what I'm doing now. Now, if you're thinking, man, what about the time that I have left? What can I do with the time that I have left? Tell me in the comments what your time looks like and how maybe you could turn it into a YouTube channel. That'd be pretty cool because I believe there's a YouTube channel in every one of us. And you may be thinking with a bunch of other arguments that we won't even get into now, but I do believe that you have something to share with the world, and the world is waiting for you to share it. If we haven't met, my name's Bill. I'm semi-retired, which means I'm retired, but I've got something that I'm working on the side, which means it's YouTube. And I live here in the Front Range of northern Colorado, and I just want to leave you with this idea. Start now, share what you know, help others. And if this resonates with you, watch this next.